All right. Good evening. It's 6 p.m. I'm calling the June 24th, 2026 LAFCO meeting to order. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We will start with introductions of the commissioners and staff to my left.
Amy Bublak, city member.
Bill O'Brien, public member.
Vito Chiesa, county member.
Suze Wallen, city member.
Jamie Yeagers, alternate public member.
Javier Camarena, assistant executive officer.
Sarah Lytle-Penny, executive officer.
Sean Wyatt, county council.
Jennifer Vieira, commission clerk.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is public comment. We will now open public comment for items not on the council agenda, and you have 3 minutes to speak, and I have one speaker card for Milt Treeweiler.
Good evening, commissioners and staff. Milt Treeweiler. I'm going to try something different tonight. I don't usually speak ad lib. I'm not, I don't do that often. But when I noticed this statement here in the agenda tonight about the Trivoli North specific plan, I knew I had to speak because, again, we're looking here at 663 acres, and this is just not soil you find anywhere. This is soil specific to our area. It's the best soil in the world. You're not going to find it anywhere else. I mean, this 663 acres will actually be more than all the good farmland. They do have farmland in Nevada. It's like you can graze cows on it. You can't grow anything on it. It grows grass. We can grow grass in the mountains. You can graze cows on the grass in the mountains, but you can't grow anything on that. This soil has the three qualities that make it the best in the world. It has the soil, the right kind of soil, deep soil, sandy loam soil, perfect soil for growing trees, for growing grapes, for growing walnuts. Well, that's one of the trees, but you know what I'm talking about. We have the water. We have TID. TID still has 90% of the water in the dam, and we've been irrigating almost or over half a season now. We still have 90% of our water there. And we have the climate, the Mediterranean climate that you don't find anyplace else except in the Mediterranean and here in our valley. So, what are we thinking about? Are we thinking? I mean, you want to build houses on this. Maybe some condos, I doubt it. Maybe some apartment complexes, very good idea. But generally, that's not what you're thinking about. So what you have to realize is that we have to, okay, I belong to the senior center, and I know the people there, some of them are struggling week to week, month to month. They're living in mobile home parks. They can't even fix up their own mobile home buildings. They have to pay $80,000 for it. My time's raining out. Hey, ad lib, I'm not very fast, am I? Okay, well, I'm going to just tell you what this is. What we're doing is stupid. It's irresponsible. It's disturbing and insane, because the duty of this commission is to LAFCO's main charges are to set forth in the legislature is to protect and promote agriculture. And that's what we have to do. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else that would like to speak under public comment for items not on tonight's agenda? All right, seeing none, I will go on to item 3. Is there any additional correspondence tonight? We've received quite a lot, but is there any additional?
There's one additional informational correspondence related to item 6A, the public hearing tonight. It's an article from the Series Courier related to the fire district proposal.
Thank you. Do any of the commissioners have any conflicts of interest? Seeing none, next on the agenda is consent items. An item may be removed from consent and discussed at the request of a member of the public or commissioner. Is there anyone on the commission that would like a consent item removed for further discussion? Seeing none, is there anyone in the public that would like an item removed from consent for further discussion? Seeing none, may I have a motion to accept the consent calendar? Moved by Mayor Bublak.
Second.
You got me there. Go on, Bublak.
Told you
Second
what.
by Supervisor Chiesa. And will the clerk please call the roll? Or do we do a roll? We don't do. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you. Next on the agenda is a public hearing. This is LAFCO application number 2026-04, Series Fire Protection District reorganization to the Stanislaus Consolidated Fire Protection District, and we will have a staff report.
Good evening, Javier Camarena with LAFCO. The item being discussed this evening is LAFCO application number 2026-04 and Sphere of Influence Amendment number 2026-05, the Series Fire Protection District reorganization to the Stanislaus Consolidated Fire Protection District. The proposal is a request to annex the Series Fire Protection District territory into the Stanislaus Consolidated Fire District and simultaneously dissolve the Series Fire Protection District. The proposed area is comprised of the Series Fire Protection District, and it's generally located south of the city of Ceres, between the Union Pacific Railroad and Faith Home Road along the south. There's an additional small area along the northeast side of the city along the river. The area contains 512 parcels and is approximately 2,500 acres in size. So the Ceres Fire Protection District currently does not have its own fire station. It does not have its own apparatus or equipment and has contracted out for services since 1995. Historically, the district has decreased in area due to annexations to the city of Ceres. Recently, the city of Ceres submitted an application to LAFCO to annex 681 acres, most of which are within the Ceres Fire Protection District. The application is currently on hold pending specific items. That item is called the Copper Trail Specific Plan, and like I said, it's on hold right now. It's pending some items we still need. Should that specific plan be annexed and approved, approximately 570 acres of the Ceres Fire Protection District will be detached. In July of 2025, a feasibility study was completed to examine the annexation of Ceres Fire Protection District into Stanislaus Consolidated. The study found that the community would benefit from a reorganization. Earlier this year, both Ceres Fire Protection District and Stanislaus Consolidated Fire Protection District approved similar resolutions requesting reorganization. If approved, reorganization will annex the Ceres Fire District into Stanislaus Consolidated Fire District. It would also amend the Stanislaus Consolidated Sphere of Influence and dissolve the Ceres Fire Protection District. All rights, responsibilities, properties, contracts, assets, liabilities, and functions of the Ceres Fire Protection District will be transferred over to Stanislaus Consolidated as the successor. The Commission must consider several factors when evaluating a reorganization. Some of these factors evaluated include population, growth, local plans and policies, impacts to agriculture and services. A discussion on these items can be found on pages 2 through 6 of the staff report. According to the plan for services, annexation of the territory will result in service improvements. Reorganization will result in one fire chief focusing on executive and community connections, consolidation of business practices, and one governing body to set policy and make decisions. Consistent with government code, a finding can be made that the proposal will be in the best interest of those within the Stanislaus Consolidated District and within the proposed annexation area. So as previously mentioned, Ceres Fire Protection District does not have its own fire station, apparatus, or equipment. It currently operates under a contract for service with the city of Ceres, who in turn is currently contracting with the City of Modesto for services. Stanislaus Consolidated serves over 50,000 residents, operates 6 fire stations, and has 58 staff members. There are no service cuts, staffing changes, station closures, or operational changes planned with the proposal. Government Code Section 56886T allows the commission to extend any previously authorized charge, fee, assessment, or tax by the local agency in the affected territory. The intent of Stanislaus Consolidated is to apply and collect its special assessment and fees within the annexed territory and transfer the current Ceres Fire District property tax allocation to the Stanislaus Consolidated Fire District. And these items are included in the project's resolution. Stanislaus Consolidated held an informational meeting on June 16th. Staff addressed questions and concerns at the meeting related to service levels, the local mutual aid agreement, and the LAFCO process. LAFCO also received a call from a resident within the Stanislaus Consolidated jurisdiction, but outside of the proposed annexation area. LAFCO staff informed the resident that the proposal would not affect customer rates or service levels. Reorganization is subject to protest proceedings. The protest proceedings provide registered voters and property owners the opportunity to protest the commission's decision. Further details on the protest proceedings can be found in the staff report and in section 57000 of CKH. Government Code Section 56853A states that if two local agencies adopt substantially similar resolutions for a reorganization, the commission shall approve or conditionally approve the proposal. And in this case, the Ceres Fire District and Stanislaus Consolidated Fire District approved a substantially similar resolution. Both resolutions requested reorganization. So staff's recommendation can be found on page 9 of the staff report, which includes approval of the proposed reorganization as outlined in Resolution 2026-13. Approval of the resolution would certify that the project is exempt from CEQA, approve the sphere of influence, and approve the annexation and direct executive officer to initiate the protest proceedings. This concludes my presentation, and staff is available for questions.
Thank you. Any commission members that have questions? Yes, go right ahead.
Madam Chairman. There's a portion of the Ceres Fire Protection District that's not contiguous with Consolidated. Is that a concern for LAFCO? Sure seems to be on other annexations.
Special districts, most special districts do not have to be contiguous.
Okay. Did we have to evaluate disadvantaged communities?
That is one of the factors that we have, yes.
Okay. All right. Do we know if Ceres Fire Protection District ever had a vote to try to raise the assessments?
That I'm not sure of. They've been contracted with City of Ceres since 1995.
Mm-hmm.
For them to have had a separate vote to raise rates, they probably would have deemed that infeasible just based on the fact that they were never making more than about $100,000 in revenue. So that would be a significant amount of money to invest in a vote. But we're not aware of one that's happened, at least in recent times.
And then the contract with Ceres would end, and it'd be covered by mutual aid, so Ceres would still be the responders.
Potentially.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in Consolidated's report, it says they will.
Yeah,
Ceres
I think
will.
there was at least the one area that's closer.
Westport,
to-
I noticed, is
but-
close on the south. So that was going to be my question is, well, it said in the report they'd have the same service, so it would be the same, the closest respond as it is in that world, correct?
I think we have some experts here that could probably respond better than me on that question.
Okay.
Good evening, Commissioners. Deputy Chief Clint Brave, City of Modesto Fire Department, currently overseeing Stanislaus Consolidated. So with our drop boundary agreements, it's an evergreen agreement, so the closest unit will respond to any incident, whether it's in the district, City of Ceres, City of Modesto, City of Turlock. With this plan, we will continue to have that evergreen agreement in place. What this annexation does do is ensure that those citizens in this district continue to function and have fire protection district.
And there would not be any contract with the City of Ceres?
Not at this point, no.
Okay. All right. So City of Ceres would be first in. They would be the
For a
first one.
structure fire, yes, but no matter what, the agency holding jurisdiction will have a unit there. So Stanislaus Consolidated will always have a unit there for a fire.
Okay.
Closest fire station is the airport.
Airport, yes.
One question on our resolution, the LAFCO resolution says that the proposals to allow Stanislaus Consolidated Fire Protection District provide fire protection services to the subject territory, but it's really going to fall on City of Ceres.
Yeah, I don't know that that's a detriment to the intent of the resolution,
All right.
since it'll technically be in their jurisdiction.
So are you, if I'm hearing you right, I don't ever want to put words in someone's mouth, but are you saying it's an inequity because of the money's going to go somewhere else, but because the mutual agreement is in effect?
The mutual aid agreement is in effect.
Yeah.
But, so here, what you have is you're going to fivefold the fees paid by the people of the district, who are going to receive the same level of service. City of Ceres is going to lose out $77,000 a year with no backfill. And then I'd have a question on what the legal nexus is to charge capital facility fees that are never going to go to the fire agency that's responding. So if I put a barn on my property and have to pay the capital facility fees, that will never go to the responding agency. I think there could be some legal nexus issue, Prop 218 issues out there somewhere.
Well, thank you very much, Jeff Small, and just want to thank staff very much for helping us with the annexation. I did the feasibility study, and the Ceres Fire Protection District did have a special assessment that passed in the mid-'80s, roughly over 40 years ago, and there's no escalator in that. What the increase in the fee is going to do is it's going to create equity as to what modern-day funding of fire protection emergency medical services are. So although the assessment does increase, the fact is in the mid-'80s, minimum wage was $3.35. Today it's well over $16, and depending on where you work, it could even be higher. So what we're really trying to do with this assessment is simply just provide modern-day service. As far as the impact fees go, the district does have an impact fee study. It was approved by your board of supervisors, and with Ceres now hopefully becoming part of the larger district and having that long-term stability, those fees would also apply. And when we did those impact fees, we did engage with the Building Industry Association, and there was recognition of, both the urban areas, whether it be the city of Riverbank or Waterford, and also rural districts. And at that time, the BIA was comfortable. They actually insisted on having one single rate for everybody. So that's just a little bit of background on the actual impact fees and the assessment.
So it was there, been involved. Yes, sir, I understand.
Any other, questions? Questions from commission members?
Comments?
Seeing none, I'll open this up for the public. Is there any members of the public that would like to speak on this item?
Yes, very much so. Again, what I just heard was that the Building Industry Association is telling Stanislaus what to do. And they don't give a damn about whether we can eat or whether our children can eat or whether our descendants can eat. All they want is money, money, money. Give me money. The Building Industry Association is destroying Stanislaus County. They're terrible people, and they're doing it just for money, money, money. They don't care about the future. They don't care if we have food. They don't care if people starve in the streets. That's not their concern. Their concern is money, money, money. And it's got to be stopped. We cannot continue to do this. It's going to crash. Yeah, it could be 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, 100 years from now. It's going to crash. If you don't have food, you're not going to survive. So why are we letting the Building Industry Association, and we've got two cities here, why are they letting the Building Industry Association control them? It's not rational. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other members of the public regarding this item?
Good evening, Chairwoman and Commissioners. My name is Raj Singh. I serve as a fire chief for the Keys Fire Protection District. Most of you probably know from my day-to-day job at the county. I appreciate the opportunity to speak regarding this proposal to annex the Ceres Fire Protection Territory into Consolidated District and dissolve the Ceres Fire Protection District. My comments tonight are not intended to oppose the regional cooperation or consolidation when it results in improved service. Rather, my concern is whether this proposal represents the most logical, effective, accountable method for delivering long-term fire protection services to the residents of the Ceres Fire Protection District. First, I am concerned that the proposed annexing agency, Consolidated Fire, does not share a common boundary with the territory proposed in the annexation. At least the majority of it, that's to the south. In my view, LAFCO should carefully consider whether assigning responsibility for fire protection services to a non-contiguous agency is the best approach when there are neighboring fire agencies that directly border the area and have the ability to provide service. Keys Fire Protection District shares approximately 5.5 miles of common border with the Ceres Fire Protection District. As an adjacent fire district, we already have established presence along the boundary and are geographically connected to the area. While some of the city of Ceres fire stations may be closer to the portions of the territory, Keys Fire is significantly closer than Consolidated Station, and that would ultimately hold the responsibility for providing protection services. Second, I am concerned about the proposed service delivery method, which you guys briefly talked about. Based on the information I found online, there's no new fire station being added to the annexed territory, and no direct fire protection resources being reallocated. Instead, the plan relies heavily on mutual aid through the city of Ceres and cooperative agreements. Mutual aid is one of the greatest strengths of the fire service and has long been an important component of emergency response throughout Stanislaus County. However, mutual aid was intended to supplement local resources during major incidents, periods of high demand, and extraordinary emergencies. It was not intended to serve as a primary means to deliver day-to-day fire protection services. In my opinion, the residents of the Ceres Fire Protection District deserve direct and accountable fire protection services from an agency responsible for protecting them, rather than a model that depends on neighboring agencies to routinely provide the first response. Regarding Keys Fire, we are often described as a volunteer fire agency, but we do not operate as a traditional volunteer fire department where personnel respond from home when a call is received. For more than 10 years, we have successfully maintained a staffed fire station 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our district employs 2 full-time firefighters. Is that my time's up? Oh. Our district employs 2 full-time firefighters Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And we also supplement daytime staffing with volunteers on a stipend pay. During the evening and weekends, we have, my time up?
It's up.
Okay. Can I
Finish your thought.
Thank you. During the weekends and evening hours, we have volunteers assigned to 1 of 4 shifts from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And if their shift falls on the weekends, they work a 24-hour shift. Typically, we have 4 firefighters on duty at any given time. Almost done.
All right.
Finally, I believe the commission should consider the broader implications of this proposal. If a non-contiguous fire district can annex territory and then rely primarily on mutual aid from a neighboring agency to provide services, it established a precedent that could be repeated elsewhere in the county. Over time, this could allow for larger agencies to absorb smaller districts without maintaining direct services and relying on mutual aid. If the commission's primary goal is to ensure long-term fire protection services for the residents of the Ceres Fire Protection District, then the question should not simply be whether Consolidated can provide service, the question should be which agency is best positioned to provide direct, accountable, geographically connected, and sustainable fire protection services.
Okay, your time's up.
Okay. Yes.
Sure.
Chief, is your agency part of the mutual aid agreement?
We are not with the, we call it MCS, the Modesto Consolidated, but we do have a similar program with Houston Fire, Denair Fire, Turlock Rural Fire, and ourselves.
Okay,
Basically the same concept.
okay, but not with Ceres Fire Protection District.
No, because right now they're through contract with Modesto.
Thank you, Chief.
Can I ask you one more question? Did you ever approach them about consolidating with Keys or the?
Approach the Ceres Fire Protection
Yeah.
District. I have not, unfortunately, as some of you know, we're in the middle of a new station project, which the team's helping us out with as well. So this was the first I've actually heard of this. That was the plan. And that's my own fault, just been busy with my day-to-day job. So this was my first opportunity to research it, see all the data on LAFCO's website, and have an opportunity to come here and at least talk during public comment.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Any other members of the public regarding this item? All right, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission for comments.
So,
I will close public comments and bring it back.
okay. So this is a little bit of a, last minute conundrum, but I would tell you that Consolidated has been working on this for quite some time. We've talked about it at the board level. But the reason I appreciate Raj coming in is that, we have many, you talk about Westport, Turlock Rural Fire Department, Mountain View, Denair, Houston, you just run around Keys, and there has been no consolidation even of the volunteer departments at this point. We have separate boards, and they operate in a method, but probably in the future, some of the volunteer type, they're not all volunteers, we're probably gonna have to look at consolidating a little bit to keep up the service. I would agree 100% that there's no change in service to speak of for people living in the Ceres Fire Protection District, other than they're gonna roll a second unit out there. So they will see some improved service, but it's not on a response time perspective. It'll be the same response time typically from Ceres. The $90 up to $341, right? It's about, if I extrapolate out, that goes from $100,000 to about $378,000 for that area. So it is quite, they've had a good deal going. It's very similar to what I pay in Houston. And I always think that's a little too cheap, because I want someone to respond to my house. If I'm having a fire, if I have, someone's having a heart attack, I want the best response I can possibly get. And I'm out in the rural area. I'm not in that 6-minute response time area. So I'm always looking for improving the fire service. This is going to be something I think will come before LAFCO more and more. Maybe not for a year or two, but it's going to happen. There are many fire districts that are hanging on by a thread. Consolidated does have a higher assessment, and the assessment overlays the area you're taking over, which is good. You typically would get better service, and this is a unique situation. I am a little concerned that it's not attached, but again, that's not a part of the rules. So in this instance, I'm going to vote to approve this. But again, this is not guarantee in the future that this is going to happen again and again and again. I talked to Gary Marchi, the chair, who was a part of this, and they know they can't provide any service, obviously, and their money is getting eaten away. And then Ceres has an issue when you pay for service, and you were giving them $80,000 10 years ago. It doesn't equal $80,000 today. And so something had to be done. And I'm sorry Keys didn't get involved in this earlier. I don't want to stop it at this point to change it. But in the future, I think there's lots of opportunities for the volunteer departments or volunteer-like departments to do some consolidation.
All right, any other comments from
Oh.
commission members?
I did want to say the one other thing that you brought up. I would agree 100% on overlaying the business, the fees on development. I think that there's a real issue there, and someone's going to have to tell me otherwise, but I'm not sure that is our, if it's our duty to do anything about that.
So I want to start my comments by expressing how much I appreciate fire service. I spent 12 years coordinating, encouraging consolidations, annexation without detachments, and even a fire authority at one point. Fire service is just near and dear to my heart. If I was a county member on this board, I would ink this deal as fast as I could. With a financially failing district, county wants to get those taken care of and finding a long-term solution. City member, I'd be concerned about the cut that Siri's going to take. Yeah, it's only $77,000. But I'm here with a public member. That's a new role for me. And so I'm looking at this from a public member. Going to look at it from a Ceres city taxpayer, where I'm providing, my city's providing fire service to a district that now is not going to be paid for it. Understand it's under a mutual aid, but it really is a one-way mutual aid in that fire district. Concerned about the increase in fees with the same level of response. Now, I'll be the first one to argue that it is completely undercharged. The $80 that's just not what it cost. And it does cost more than that. But that just strengthens my position for the city of Ceres to say the real cost is more than $80 a parcel. We're not even going to get that anymore. Capital fees, I think, is an issue. I think someone's going to determine that at some point in time. It's probably going to be a large project that it wants to get developed at some point in time. And other agencies are going to have to deal with that other than LAFCO. But I think there's a legal nexus that's going to have to take a look at that. I'm excited that there's talk about consolidations, further collaborations, but is it what's best for the public in that district? And is it what's best for the taxpayer of the city of Ceres? And I do not think it is. I give an A for effort. I think there are solutions, but I'm not sure that this one checks all the boxes.
All right, any other comments?
I suppose I would love to have your input on whether or not our approving it would actually put the city residents of Ceres in harm financially, potentially.
Well, I think the initial question is whether or not you can approve it, right? And the section mandates that you shall, or you can make a material change with 30 days notice. Is that right, Sarah? Right. You can suggest to change it and continue it, give the agencies notice, and they'd have to come back before you again. But other than that, it's teed up for a mandatory vote to approve.
And is that at the expense of anyone, or if it were continued for the 30 days, it wouldn't harm the applicant?
Well, you'd have to, I guess, speak to the change now, continue for 30 days, and have to come back and speak on it, but you can't make any change. It wouldn't be effective until 30 days, at least for another vote.
I see what he's saying, and as a city member, I do get that if you're paying for something, you're gonna want that, and if there's no assurance of that, then I feel like that's my job to make sure I'm hearing that correctly, and if it can be altered to be fair.
I couldn't speak to that. I don't have any information about the depth of involvement from the Ceres Fire Department. I would assume, since they're affected by it, that they had some involvement. Perhaps there's somebody else that has some information on that. I really don't know. I couldn't speak to that and how they're being represented here.
Just a point of order. If it's a shall, why do we even have to listen? Why do we have to have a public hearing and listen to the arguments?
For the second part of that, because you can suggest a material change. You do have that option, and the districts do have a right to speak on it. Okay.
Like an offer?
It says the commission may order any material change in the provisions or terms and conditions of the consolidation or reorganization.
I have a comment. My understanding is that all the parties involved have done extensive work on this and both approved it. So I'm operating under the assumption that that actually happened. And they both agreed, or everyone agreed. There was only one person that expressed any concern or question about it at all up until this point, and here we are. And this person, not that their opinion doesn't matter, but they didn't live, it didn't apply to them. So is that, I'm correct in that assumption that all this work has been done and we're here tonight? Okay, would you please, if you want to make a comment about that or respond, unless I'm missing something.
Yeah, so we started working on this March of 2025, and we're headed into July. A couple things on the level of service. So with MST, that's what we call it, almost every unit responds is ALS capable. That's something I believe Keys Fire can offer. So our citizens are receiving an enhanced level of service.
And do you want to explain? I'm an ER nurse, so I know it. You mean ALS,
ALS
Advanced Life Support.
paramedics.
Do you understand that?
Yeah. So
That's important.
You know, Consolidated, I have 18 paramedics on duty there. Modesto has multiple paramedics. So we're offering that ALS capability for enhanced service for our citizens. With this, the service is going to change a little bit. You know, currently under our automatic gate agreements, when there's a fire in a serious fire protection district, they get a water tender from Consolidated. They're going to get that plus more. So there will be some enhancements of service. The unfortunate thing is, and I go to Supervisor Chiesa, if this isn't proven, this district is going to fail, and at some point they're going to have to turn the keys to the county. So, and we're trying to be good partners with the county and solve problems that the county wants us to solve at the fire service level. So,
All right, thank you. All right, any other comments from commission members at this time? Did you want to say anything more or any other suggestions going further? Okay. All right. I have a LAFCO application number 2026-04, Series Fire Protection District Reorganization to the Stanislaus Consolidated Fire Protection District. Do I have a motion to approve?
I want to get this right, because the options, the staff recommendations, not the alternative commission, right?
I'm just reading it as it's printed here, so if there's something more, please let me know.
I'm just making sure I get the 5 staff recommendation based on the staff. Yes. Approve the proposal.
Approve the proposal and adopt resolution 2026-13.
Yeah. Whenever you put multiple options, you have to read. And
Okay, I will read this in its entirety. Request to annex this, which is what I typically do at city council meetings, by the way. Request to annex the Ceres Fire Protection District territory, which is comprised of approximately 2,444 acres, and simultaneously dissolve the Ceres Fire Protection District. The reorganization will also include a sphere of influence amendment for the Stanislaus Consolidated Fire Protection District. The Ceres Fire Protection District area is located south of the city of Ceres between the Union Pacific Railroad and Faith Home Road. The proposal is considered exempt for purposes of the California Environmental Quality Act pursuant to Section 15320 and Section 15061B3. Section 15320 categorically exempts changes of organization or reorganization of local governmental agencies where the proposal does not change the geographical area in which previously existing powers are exercised. Section 15061B3 exempts the project through the general rule that CEQA applies only to projects which have the potential for causing a significant effect on the environment. It has been determined with certainty that there is no possibility that the activity in question may have a significant effect on the environment. The activity is not subject to CEQA. Staff recommendation: approve the proposal and adopt resolution number 2026-13. Do I have a motion? Motion by Supervisor Chiesa. Do I have a second? I'll second it. All in favor, please say,
I think they do a roll call on this one.
yeah.
just for good-
This, it says in the script, all in favor, any opposed, but I prefer a roll call for all votes.
Okay. Commissioner Bublak?
No?
Commissioner O'Brien?
No.
Commissioner Chiesa?
Aye.
Commissioner Zawala?
Aye. So it's a fail?
But I think there's no option to fail it without taking it back. You have to approve. So I think, for lack of a better option, I think next vote should be to continue it, because I don't think we can just fail it without a change or sending it back.
Right.
So if you want to continue it, I think that would probably be the best direction, and you could have further discussion to the next meeting.
But then wouldn't it be better to just make the motion of continuing it with the changes and suggest them now so that we can start working on it? Otherwise,
Well, yes, that is an option, to suggest material changes, but you can't take any action to
right,
make
of
any
course,
change.
of course.
Next meeting.
Yeah.
If they make the change, you make it on the 30th.
Yeah, it won't be.
All right, please, everything that we say at the meeting, say it in the microphone so everyone can hear it.
So I guess the question, because I'm wondering out loud, there's a fifth board member who's not here. And if we move it forward with the change and you come back 30 days later, we vote again, and the member is on the affirmative side, we run into the same problem where we'll punt it out another 30 days, I think. But I really don't, again, staying the decision when we don't know where that vote's going to be. So let's talk about the time sensitivity. There is no time sensitivity here, right? Like 30 days, 60 days?
The only time sensitivity here is that we have an application, it's
Yes.
incomplete for Copper Trails. If that application were to become complete and we reviewed it, we may end up with a situation where we're
Okay.
running
Hold it up. Okay.
competing timelines for detachment on a district that's.
But we're scheduled to have a meeting next month and the month after, right?
Correct.
2 months. So, do we, I guess the will, do we change it?
Were we planning on having a July meeting?
We were not originally.
Okay.
And I don't know that the 30 days, the third day might land. I don't know if it's actually 30 days. So it might end up being August anyway.
So then we would, yeah.
So if it were approved tonight, we have to still conduct a protest hearing. So there's still a timeline after the commission makes its decision that we need to fulfill before it would even be recorded. So you'd be adding additional time to that as well.
And since we're going back to questions, my concern is, will service be impaired due to no decision being made, or a decision being made that not going forward
It would be status quo.
to the residents?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. All right, so please give direction on what next steps would be
And ask
in
you
this
guys to give
situation.
direction. Support whatever you,
Yeah, I think your options are
yeah.
approve it or set it to a different date, and that's the only available date would be August to get the 30-day notice out.
But it's whether we continue it for 30 days with the change, or whether just to continue it for 30 days. That's our option. Because we already voted, we have to go for the change? So
It's, the commission shall approve or conditionally approve the proposal. And so as it's stated in the law, I don't know that there's any room in there to just continue it, just to continue it, unless there's some other residual issue, maybe if we didn't have a quorum. But I think you have to take action on it. It's very strongly and clearly written in the code section. So it says material change, and so that's the question is to what extent, how big or small can the change really be material to get to a degree and maybe not cause so much ripple effect that you can come back and make an informed decision within 30 or after 35 days in the August meeting. So I think you all have to take that into consideration to see how big of an ask it is going to be for what kind of change.
So if I'm hearing correctly, it seems like the biggest concern is about the payment of more money for the residents.
So one option out there could be get City of Ceres part in here to tell us that, hey, a contract could solve this. If there was a contract for service for that area that's not contiguous with the district, with the consolidated district, it sure seems like, if I was sitting on a city council, that I would really want to entertain that.
Was there any interaction? I don't know. I mean, now that we've already decided, I don't even know if it's appropriate to talk about this.
Well, you're discussing the next motion, so I think, because you have to do something.
Yeah, I'm
So I
just
think
curious
it's
if the city of Ceres was involved in the process and how they were involved.
I've met with both the former city manager and the current city manager on this, and we're having informal talks about a tax sharing agreement in the future, knowing that when they annex Copper Trails, that most of this money will be gone because it goes to the city of Ceres. So.
Thank you.
I'm sure it's really on topic, but is that copper project talking about annexation without detachment?
Currently, it includes detachment, so it would be, that section would be sort of irrelevant at that point. We had conversations very early on, maybe even before the 2025 date you mentioned. LAFCO's initial response letter to the Copper Trails project identified that both Keys Fire and Ceres Fire Protection Districts would be impacted. It also identified that Ceres Fire Protection District would be significantly impacted because at least a quarter to a third of its territory would be detached upon annexation to Copper Trails, leaving it even more infeasible for it to function as a independent district without relying on somebody else for service. We met actually even with the developer and representatives from Ceres Fire Protection District and Keys Fire Protection District discussing options with the city of Ceres about how they could mitigate those impacts, either providing an equivalent amount of taxes received back to the districts for some amount of years, which I think they potentially came to an agreement with Keys Fire Protection District about, or looking at some other options for those districts, including Ceres, who I think at the time the board president was there and was considering the possibility of dissolution at that point and who would take over. So these have been long discussions with both City of Ceres involved and the affected districts. Just adding more to the story. Another layer.
Chief Bray, can you answer why Ceres didn't just take it all in?
The challenge for the city of Ceres to take it all in is then they have to provide city services to that whole district, and significant cost to do that when you start adding in, curved streets and gutters and sewer, water. So, like multiple cities around, as they annex into these districts, typically in past practices, districts lose that territory, they lose that revenue, which makes it challenging, especially for smaller districts like Ceres and other smaller agencies to continue to function. So essentially, with the annexation of Copper Trails, this district will no longer be able to function to provide a fiscal audit that they're state mandated to require, pay for a general manager who does their budget and their books, and they're getting a steal right now for who is doing that. So it makes it a pretty unfunctional special district. The other challenges with Ceres Fire Protection District is they're not really a functional board. They only have 2 members and have not had anybody to be appointed to their board due to the small size. So what you're seeing is a very small fire protection district on the verge of failure.
Thank you. So what's next?
It's still to you to determine how you want to change, go forward. There's some additional information added there. I don't know if it answers the
All right,
question.
any commissioners have any suggestions moving forward?
I did. I offered up a contract between Ceres and which would now be consolidated to pay for the service that's expected to be performed.
So how do we move forward with that? What does that look like? From this LAFCO, I mean, do we have the responsibility for that? Or do we have the,
It's, the code section's so, I mean, it's specific in one point and then broad and as far as the changes you can make. And just, it's some research now, kind of off the cuff, I could tell you that there are no cases on point to give me 0 decisions on this particular code section that would give us some guidance on it, which tells you that it doesn't happen very often. So some of these questions, the detail and specificity of them, you know, I'm simply just going to need more time. I don't really know if I can give you guidance on to what extent you can change the terms and conditions. That isn't really my role here. I could probably help if you made a proposal. Certainly if you were, I guess what you are talking about, Commissioner O'Brien, would be a change, not so much to the terms and conditions between the 2 districts, but for them to seek a third-party interaction. And if I'm going off the cuff, I would say that we're going outside of our jurisdiction in that, because what we're talking about is the agreement between the 2 parties, and that's what you're here to approve. And so you go from them being substantially similar, situated, they're passing similar provisions, they've checked all the other boxes, and so I think if I was going to bet on it or write an opinion on it, that the role, the authority is limited to the terms of negotiating between the 2 parties before us.
But it's impacting a third party.
Right. I imagine that happens quite regularly, but with there's notice, right? Citizens have been noticed. There's going to be a protest vote. There are other mechanisms in the law to prevent any issue from that. So that's what those are there for.
City of Ceres can't protest this vote.
Well, the residents can, right? And they're the ones affected. And so they can come
The
out
residents
in
of the
droves.
district, not the residents of the city.
Sure. I'm not going to
Residents-
get into a political debate about
Yeah.
what's right and wrong. I'm just giving the parameters of what I think your authority is.
Mike, then another question, is the city of Ceres the ones that make this decision?
No.
Overriding any other municipality or involved party? Do we have, is that our responsibility to?
No, I think your responsibility is just to determine whether or not you're going to want to change the agreement between these 2 parties.
All right.
Just Stanislaus Fire and
Okay.
the special district.
So one of the points in this document is to cancel the contract. What if we strike that?
I wouldn't know what the effect is. I don't know what that contract is. So I mean, I suppose you can propose that as a term to cancel that, would give notice, and the affected parties would have to come back and speak to that point.
To not cancel the contract between Ceres Fire Protection and City of Ceres.
I don't believe that is a term of the, because that's not subject to the action tonight. They could continue it or not, and it's outside of our authority to require them to have an agreement. It's actually exempt from LAFCO.
It's in the proposed service plan that's part of your agenda.
Right, but that's not, that's describing sort of the background and the story around it, but it's not an action that the commission is involved in or party to.
And at what point do the changes become so substantial that another application is necessary versus agreement between parties?
The only time a fire service agreement requires LAFCO approval is if it changes more than 25% of the employee status or 25% of the jurisdiction, but it doesn't have any requirement about the ending of that contract or not.
So is there any next steps? I also feel like I should make it clear that I represent the residents also, and not just of Modesto. I feel like on this commission, I represent the residents of the entire communities, all the communities involved. I don't look at it as just being a city member, so only looking out for Modesto's interest. I just don't think that way.
I don't remember anybody being that way. I for sure, maybe you misunderstood my statement,
No,
because
I
I was
didn't.
all about residents.
Yeah.
Not my residents, the residents, so.
Right. So what would be next steps? How can we move forward with this situation that we're currently in?
That's what I'm thinking about.
Okay,
because
take your
everyone-
time.
Yeah, because
It's a lot.
what you're asking me is to figure out what a material change would be. And I suppose you can't make it anyways without the consent of the parties. So I suppose since it's not going to have any effect, you could agree on a change that you can all agree to, and ask that we come back at a later date. We'll give notice to that. That change won't take effect, and then we'll have to go from there because we don't have any consensus and agreements otherwise. And I don't have any guidance beyond what I've given as far as what I understand the role of LAFCO to be.
Give me 1 second.
So also, I'd like to emphasize the importance of people being in attendance for meetings or getting alternates to attend.
Non-material changes.
Thank you for being here this evening, taking your time to be here.
One suggestion, without necessarily making a material change, would be that concerns related to the city of Ceres could potentially be addressed during that Copper Trails application, because then you would be looking at their potential detachment from Stanislaus Consolidated, and they could address whether or not they're impacted or not as related to directly to that annexation. And then that keeps this focused on the two districts, and then it keeps the topic of City of Ceres focused on their upcoming Copper Trails application.
Thank you.
I'm thinking more about something we can continue for 30 days with a change that isn't material, and detachment versus not detaching seems material. If that's what we were going to discuss.
And that's where I'm tying it to the Copper Trails application. We don't
Okay.
want to, we're sort of mixing topics,
Got it.
but we want to make sure that we're keeping that topic with that application when it comes before us.
Yeah, it feels like we're just stepping out of what this was about. I'm confused
And so,
a bit.
could we have, what about asking Ceres to be at the next meeting to come up here and stand and say that?
That's what I'm thinking about. I'm just trying to figure out a way in which we can rope in a third party that's really not here, and maybe they've discussed this or not, or it seems like they have, but aren't a party to this action, but the control exerted. I suppose you could order that the parties consider, and it doesn't necessarily have to be rationally stated right now, or stated in a way that's practical, but just so that you can relay the effect of what change you may mean to make. So you can order, a change in the share of the assessments between the district and the city. I'm reaching for words here because I can't really find one, but it would, if you can think of something better.
So, in your mind, does that construe a material change? If we need more information, to hear from Ceres to see if they're okay with the tax share split, or that they're not going, assessment
Yes, I think that gets us to where we're going here, because, I mean, the way that it's written, you have some authority to make change to it, but it's not given, there's not a whole lot of guidance as to what you can and can't do and who you can affect. And that's what I'm struggling with here a little bit, because there's no guidance on it.
I have a question, Chief, regarding the city of Ceres. And then I'm just wondering if commission members were able to ask these questions ahead of time at all, or not, or just tonight is the first opportunity?
Yeah, is the first round.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, not the Brown Act, individually, if you would have the opportunity to look over the materials with your concerns. Okay. All right, can you
Not a requirement.
please just respond to the city of Ceres if you have more insight, or not, if that's what the concern is?
With our partnership, we've been talking to the city series along the whole way. I met with the city manager last week to discuss this. He's newly in place. And we came up with an informal agreement, hey, for sure this year they were going to get their $77,000. With this process, once the annexation is to occur, it still has to go to the State Franchise Tax Board for approval of the assessment. So Consolidated is not planning on seeing any revenue until next fiscal year, which is the 27-28 year. And so I made assurances, you know, knowing that the fiscal issues that they're running into, that they're going to receive their money this year. And then we had informal talks about what the potential of the Copper Tail Agreement is going to do to this district and how we work together in with tax sharing.
Were the residents of Ceres involved, or any of the city council members? Mayor,
No, not
city-
at this time. It's just between me and the city manager.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. So what would need to happen then to move forward?
You could make the change, suggest the change, or the other option is to conditionally approve it. And I suppose that means that, I mean, if you could, you're going to conditionally approve it upon hearing from the Ceres Fire Department. And then at that point, if you don't, it's not an approval because that's a condition. The condition just would have to be fashioned in a way that satisfies the wishes of the board members. I think that's the only other way to continue it. I think what puts us in a bit of a bind is it's a shall approve and it's already been denied. So I'm not quite sure what to do with that because we did it without changing it. And so now we're on the next section, that's to offer material change or conditional approval. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's technically a failed vote, so
Right.
we could automatically continue it,
if,
but with direction to bring more information, something to that effect. If we do a material change, then that is going to trigger the additional timeline.
Right.
And will necessitate both districts having to agree with that material change.
yeah, so it's, that's what I'm thinking
It's
is,
questionable.
right. I mean, the other option is really just to continue it and then see. I don't know. I mean, it's a failed vote where there's not supposed to be a failed vote. And so I don't know how to couch that. But at either way, if you just agree on considering a change, it doesn't mean that's going to happen. It just means that that change is going to be noticed to the districts because you don't have any authority to make any changes now. So you just have to agree to get them to consider something. And the change can be vague enough so I think you can all agree.
Yeah.
And it could be something something affecting the assessments.
Okay, so I'm gonna look left and, is that going to be okay? Because we're gonna have to give direction and it would be better if it was all of us giving direction,
Yeah.
regardless of what it is.
So what material change do you?
No, we're not going to, we're going to ask the consideration. In the next meeting, we're gonna continue this and ask for consideration of the,
The split of the
The split.
assessment fees.
but we're not gonna make a decision because then
We're just
we'll-
offering that up for them to have.
Right, just
come back.
offering up that
For
some sort of
continuation.
financial contribution
Yeah.
will be considered.
Yeah.
And that's for them to go back and determine if they're willing or able to.
Right, and they'll come back with notice on it, and since it's, if it's general, it doesn't, the other thing is not gonna necessarily direct them to do anything specific. Right, and so that it'll
Right, they can come back and say no.
Right,
but
and you have a conversation
I have
about
a
it.
funny feeling Ceres will be here at the next meeting.
Well, yeah, well. I don't know if anyone's going to laugh about how funny it is, but hopefully they'll be here.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll be here.
Okay.
I would recommend it, that is the motion, to continue it to date specific and have it be the August 26th meeting. That way we have enough time for the 30-day notice, and then the districts have enough time to work out the meaning of that suggestion.
Okay. I'm okay putting that. Do we need a motion for continuance? So Sean, you do the wordsmithing.
Okay.
But we continue to the August
Okay.
meeting with consideration from the districts on the revenue share, assessment share.
Is that clear enough?
I'm going to write it down so I can
Okay.
think of something clear here and
Okay.
give it back to you to see if it
All
makes
right.
sense.
Mhm.
Congratulations to Ms. Boozer, the champion. And I heard your seat paid to the right. Yeah. One. She looks more cut today than she did when she was competing.
It's sick. Good fit kitchen food.
Jamie, you're last week.
Yeah, I know that. Thank you.
That's one of the great things about being an alternate on LAFCO. You get to mix it up.
I get it.
He's got a tough schedule. Funny because at the college meeting, we had a new member from Houston. He came up and said, "Can I just take a second?" Yeah. No, yeah, because he had jewelry in the strength. And so, both of them, very long, but it was like 5:30 or so. I hope I'm the same, but it's some problem. And we didn't think about it. Called me because then it's scheduled out pretty far. Oh, yeah. How are things otherwise? You're still wearing black pants, which means you're still working at it.
Number one customer. Can live on our own lives. Number one customer, so like Grace told.
For the world.
Were you before?
Yeah.
So what, I thought this was the
That was US.
US. Worlds. That's a good place. Never been there?
That-
So, no.
No, I'm gonna go all the way there to Sydney to Hong Kong to. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna read it to you, because my handwriting's bad, and you're not gonna be able to read it off of this.
Okay.
And you can adopt it as I say it, so you don't have to repeat it.
Okay, thank you.
If you agree.
Thank you.
Motion to direct the executive officer to give notice to the subject agencies that the board is considering making a change to include a contract with Series Fire for direct services.
Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
A second.
All right, we have a motion by Supervisor Casey, second by Mayor Bublak. Well, we're going to do roll call. Amy?
Yes.
Mhm. Bill?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Aye.
And I'm a no.
Passes.
Okay. So that passes. And the only option is, with the 30-day notice, is the August 22nd date, right?
August 26th.
26th, okay.
All right. There is no other business to discuss. Next on the agenda is commissioner comments. Any comments from commissioners? All right, I did attend LAFCO 201. I wanted to make that known and learned a lot more about LAFCO and appreciate the opportunity to have that training. Next on the agenda is any additional matters. My understanding is there are not any additional matters. Next is the executive officer's report.
Yep, just noting that we will be canceling the July meeting, and we will see you all back here on August 26th for the continuation of this item. Thank you.
Thank you. This meeting is now adjourned.